Thanks for watching Lehman Racing Podcast. Please make sure you check out my recent episodes. They're pretty cool. Thank you for watching and thank you for the support and enjoy the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lehman Racing Podcast. Your host Dalton McVeigh, and so we got a special guest in the back, Brandon Paskan. He's in the back. We'll bring him on here in a minute. We got a couple highlights here as well, but before we get into that, wanted to bring up that the second contest is underway on the Lehman Podcast page. So feel free to post your hot rod, and the winner after April 1st will get a shout out on the episode. You get like a shout out in a sense that, like the first one with the Barrick Racing family there, family racing or something right around there. Also, the co-host couldn't make it on. He has a lot going on right now, so we do not know when he'll be back on. But he will be back on, I'm sure, in the future episodes to come. Also, we're going to start slowing down kind of in the podcast deal after the 5th of April. We're going to start making them probably once a week. If not, be once every 2 weeks. We're just slowing down because I got the corrections coming up that's going to mess with the schedule a lot. But as far as it goes, we will continue our podcast, racing footage, coverage, all that stuff will still be there for the summer as well. We're going to try to do onboard footage and try to make some cool videos on YouTube, especially with like Oakshade, Hartford, Butler. We're supposed to, and then, we'll possibly go on the I-96. I don't know when, but I got the schedule of what I'm wanting to do, but it's hard to tell if it's going to be just like the schedule or not because of the way everything will be. Thanks again for all love and support, and for just the podcast in general. Means a lot. We got a couple things here. So for the basketball news, looks like it's 73 to 108. Kings 73 and Magics are 108 with Magics taking the win. And so at 7 p.m. tonight, so about ready to take off, the Nets and the Wizards are set to square off. And then 8:30 on the 31st, Monday, March 31st, it's like the Brooklyn Nets are at the Mavericks Stadium facing the Mavericks. And 7:30 on April 3rd, the Brooklyn Nets are with Timberwolves, and the Raptors on Sunday, April 6th. So that looks like for sport news there. And then we got a video to bring on here. The Kubota High Limit Series has kicked off in the central Arizona. So let's check that out as well. Oh. Hold on 1 second. Share the screen here. There we go.
Let's go racing off at turn number 4. We are green. Feature events underway. A big move out there. Courtney has the early race lead. Reitzel dips down low in turn 1, but Tyler Courtney, he's going to lead lap number 1 of the feature event. Reitzel runs in second. Justin Peck in third. Tanner Holmes quick into the 4th position. Here comes Dason Persley. He looks to the inside of Rico Abreu and also to the inside of Holmes. Off at turn number 2. Move Dason Persley into the top 5. Persley now working on number 21. Car Tanner Holmes as they work through 3 and turns number 3 and 4. Not going to make the pass quite yet, but pulls up next to Holmes down the front straightaway. Wow, Dason Persley, very, very good right there off the bottom of turn number 4. Battle for the lead up front. Tyler Courtney feeling the heat from Aaron Reitzel. Reitzel tries to run the bottom. They're side by side, almost off the court. To the corner line. Reitzel might look for a slider into turn number 1. Not going to get there in time. On the outside, tains the spot. It is fast. It is here at Central Arizona Raceway. That's the next as he makes his way by Rico Abreu. Now working on 21 of Holmes down the back straightaway. Brad Sweet nearly gets put in the wall in the backstretch right there. Close call right there as they almost ran out of room. Tyler Courtney closing on the back of the field. There is cars all over the racetrack right in front of your race leader. Courtney trying to pick his way through the traffic. Gets by another one. That's Colby Thornhill. One lap car between your first and second place machines. One car off the pace on the front stretch. It's Josh Boffman. We stay green. Reitzel's gotten by Thornhill as Courtney now goes low in turn 4. Reitzel on his back bumper off the corner. They're nose to tail working into turn 1. Aaron Reitzel to the inside looking for the race lead. He's got it in turn 2. Aaron Reitzel to the top spot. Tyler Courtney to the inside down the backstretch. They nearly bang wheels into the back straightaway. Tyler Courtney slider for the race lead. Takes it back away from Reitzel. Across the line. Who's going to lead the lap? It's Tyler Courtney just barely. Tyler Courtney with the top spot. Now Reitzel takes it back away. Here comes Peck. Peck's making a 3-car battle for the race lead. 3 cars under a blanket into turn 3. Caution, we got one into the wall. Chase Randall into the wall in turn number 4. Coming back to the green, we are underway once again. Close call down the front stretch, and it's going to allow Decent Purse to get by Brad Sweet. Sweet and Peck almost got together at the end of the front straightaway, and Pursley's now looking for third, but the yellow is going to come out. Looks like somebody got a piece of our cone, and it made it all the way to turn 1.
Chase, they didn't just get a piece of that thing. They got the whole darn kit and caboodle. A cone. Looks like Cody Huster, Trent Etzer picking it up as, oh no, Trent goes down and cleans up the debris over in turn number 1.
Green lights come back on, and we are back underway at Central Arizona Raceway. Tyler Courtney goes high in turn 1. Reitzel will follow him. Brad Sweet to the bottom, tries to get by Justin Peck. It doesn't work. And now Pursley sees an opening on the inside. He takes 4th away. Dason Pursley by Brad Sweet. Now to the outside of Justin Peck. Pursley trying to go for 3rd, gets sideways. They're 3 wide across the line. Brad Sweet now takes 3rd away. Tanner Holmes follows on through with him. Holmes is up to 4th. Now he's not. He hooks the cushion. Pursley gets back by along with Peck. Great battle right here, just inside the top 5 positions. Justin Peck gets slid by Brad Sweet. Looks to the inside down the front straightaway, trying to take the 3rd spot away. Justin Peck points the car to the bottom, slides up in front of Brad Sweet, hooks the cushion, has the spot down the backstretch, but Brad Sweet gets back by him. Brad Sweet back into 3rd. Behind them, a great tussle going on for Tanner Holmes, Jason Pursley, Rico Abreu. Brent Marks in the mix as well. Marks will get by Abreu down the front straightaway. Move Brent Marks up into the 6th position as Pursley and Holmes continue to slide each other back and forth. Next time by, 5 laps to go. Reitzel trying to dig down deep and find a little something extra here to track him down and win his 2nd race in a row. They're side by side in front of your race leader. Tyler Courtney now to the outside of Danny Sams. We'll put him 1 lap down. Reitzel losing a little bit of ground down the backstretch. Now Courtney goes low. That might be the opening for Aaron Reitzel. Courtney through the slick, off the corner. New race leader, it's Aaron Reitzel. Reitzel takes the lead off of turn 4. Tyler Courtney spun the tires in the slick off of turn 4, and it cost him big time. Now going to get back up in the seat right here. This time by, going to be 3 laps to go. Reitzel still has a lot of traffic to deal with now. Off of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. Robbie Price, the 19 of Colby Thornhill, the 88 of Austin McCarl, all up in front of him. Brad Sweet and Justin Peck, they get close back behind him. Slider for that 3rd spot, give it to Peck down the backstretch. 2 laps to go this time by for Aaron Reitzel. A little bit of rubber right through the middle right now. Reitzel trying to win back-to-back. He's a lap and a half away from making it happen. Right behind Robbie Price. White flag 1 to go. It's Reitzel, Courtney, Peck, Sweet, and Holmes. Back straightaway for the final time. And Aaron Reitzel off of turn number 4, 2 in a row. Does it tonight at Central Arizona Raceway. Tyler Courtney 2nd, Justin Peck 3rd, 4th. It's Reitzel, Courtney.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was a pretty cool race there between Reitzel and Brad Sweet and all them guys. Justin Peck, them guys. So without further ado, let's bring on our guest tonight, Brandon Paskan. How you doing, Brandon? I think your mic shut off, buddy.
No.
There we go.
Good. How are you, buddy?
Good, man. That's awesome. So what'd you think of that race there on Kubota, dude? That's pretty sweet. Some good racing there.
I think the best part is when they get the cone and the guy goes down. The worst thing that you could possibly imagine, out there on the track, you got all those cars going around and you flip the ball.
So I know we were bringing up real quick before we got into the interview and stuff. What did wanted to talk a little bit about Attica though. I heard Attica had a big decent race out there.
Oh yeah, this rain here, it's making that track fast.
Oh yeah,
it is making that fast. When you get comes out there and sets track record, another guy comes out and Rusty Schlenke goes out there and sets track record. Another track record in the 305 sprint cars, possibly in the 410s. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That sounds like a good night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wish I was there for that one, but with the rain and everything, I didn't feel like making that trip out there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started here. So tell the viewers more about you and, like, where you're from.
Well, I'm originally from Hudson. I went to school in Hudson, Michigan, from Clayton. I moved down to Texas for a little while, was down there, moved back to Michigan about high school, and I've been here ever since. Just love racing. That's what I like to do, racing sports, and got some kids that's starting to get into it as well. Yeah, that's pretty much sums up my life, racing. I like to talk about it.
Oh yeah, all the time. I like talking about it too. It's the way of life, man.
Exactly. It's in your blood. It's in your heart.
Oh yeah. So, what was your favorite track you've been to, and what are all the tracks you've been to, and why? And is there a favorite that you have? Sorry,
that I've ran or have just been to.
Yeah, that you ran or you've been to in a sense, or
Let's see here. Obviously, I've been down to Oakshade. I've been to Butler. I've ran at Hartford with the Midwest Compacts. I've been to Gas City. I have been to what else? I think that's all I've ran. If I had to say my favorite all-time favorite will always forever and always be Oakshade. That's hometown. That's my favorite track. But I think outside of it, I think would either have to be between Hartford or Gas City. Hartford was really cool because it was bigger. It's a definitely different track to go to, especially when they shortened it. They went from a 5/8 mile, I believe it was, and they went down to a 3/8 mile track, and it was really cool. Gas City was the dirt that you raced on was, second to none. It was really good. I like the shortness. I think it's like a 1/4 mile track. But yeah, other than that, I think that's it. But I've been all the way up to Winston. And I've been a dirt track fan my whole life, and I've been to Eldora once. But I thought that place was pretty cool as well. Winston was pretty cool. I think I'd like to go up there. I would really like to try to make I-96, but I've heard a lot of horror stories. We'll say, especially for the compacts.
Well, I would say. So with I-96, funny you should bring that up.
I've heard some experiences there.
A little bit, but a little bit. But like it's more of like I-96 is like you got to keep the pedal down. You got to keep that skinny pedal down most of the time around that track. That's how it rolls there. Just like I've been to Eldora, but I didn't race out there. It was back when they had the compact Volt, and I went out with Corey, and he was out there running that, and it's experience for sure. Don't get me wrong. Anything Eldora puts on is experience. But I tell you though, that was there's a lot of people, and I mean, you hear some of the cars that ran down there at Butler or no Eldora, and you're like, yeah, they're not 4-cylinders, no way.
Oh yeah, yeah. And 4-cylinders are cool, and they're really fun to get. In the sport of 4-cylinders is really starting to boom. They got that big race at Kokomo coming up with the 100,000 to win. That's a big deal.
Oh yeah.
You even got the SCDRAs that are down south. They're hosting regular shows for 20,000 to win.
See, so they're fun. They're a fun sport to get into, especially with running with the SCDRA. But then it goes into this, though.
Yeah, right there. I feel every bit of that.
Right, literally, like when you're, like us guys balling on a budget. You just go with these local guys, and hey, I mean, you do decent. I mean, I've seen you out there. You look decent, really decent out there, and I try my best. That's all I can say.
Oh yeah. Hey, it's all about having fun though. If you're not having fun with it and not just going out there, if you're gonna tie yourself to going out there and that you want to win, that you're gonna win, it's probably not gonna happen.
Right.
You got to just go out there and run your race. And
if it happens, it happens. That's a plus.
Exactly.
So what was? Go ahead, buddy.
No, you're good.
So what was your biggest challenges, starting out and, as starting your racing career? What was your biggest challenges, and still to this day, how'd you overcome it?
Just making it to the track. I've had a lot of experiences and a lot of, I guess, setbacks. I don't even know if you'd call it setbacks, just getting to the track. I have had cars fall off the trailer. I've had cars break on race night. I've had cars. I'd have to say just getting there. Getting prepped and ready, and you come across a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And just the preparation and getting to the racetrack.
See, because when it comes down to getting to the racetrack and everything, I can relate. My first year was touch and go on what vehicle I was using to get to the track.
Oh yeah, well, that's how it was growing up as well. I remember my dad. We've broken down a couple of times going to the racetrack, and it's a lot of fun.
It's something for sure. What was your proudest moment so far into your career?
Probably my first heat race win.
Heck yeah, man!
It's a good feeling. I raced probably I want to say 6 years. I took a break. I raced for a few years, got out of it for a little while. I started doing other stuff in life, and then I come back. But definitely getting that first heat race win, it's a big accomplishment, especially for no more than what I do have. I don't exactly have the best equipment to be out there, especially competing with some of these guys that are out there now. But yeah, that's probably my biggest accomplishment is that first heat race win.
So, some families have a legacy, as far as their dad, their uncle, or whatnot raced. So do you have a legacy into racing that kind of you grew up with and kind of helped and got you into it, kind of thing?
Oh yeah, definitely my dad. Obviously, he's been doing it for a long time. My grandpa did it before him. I've had a couple of family members, a couple of friends around. I remember we were sitting at the table one night, and my dad shows me this car. It was a couple hours away for $275. And
Oh, really?
it was basically race ready, other than making sure it ran all right, made it look however I want. It had some ball tires on it, stock setup, nothing fancy. But so my dad took me down there to get it. We bought it, come back, and my intentions was to get it ready for the following season or the next season. And he says, "Well, why? He can get it going, get it racing this weekend." And so I remember the whole family had got some spray paint and some stencil numbers made out of cardboard, spray painted it.
Very
It
good.
was a cool experience. And then I went out there and everybody was nervous and said, "Oh, just take it easy." And I go out there and hammer down,
Hammer down, only way to
and
do.
yeah, so that was it. That was the start of my career. I'd have to say that was probably my biggest, I guess, accomplishment. I don't even know if I'd call it accomplishment, but that was the start.
So was there like, as you mentioned, your dad and your grandpa raced, was that one of your kind of like, in a sense, was that your early interests, like into as a childhood, in your childhood, like getting into racing, or did you kind of like watch like NASCAR, dirt racing, stuff like that, got your interest into it, or just going to the track?
I used to go to the track when my dad used to take me to the track and everything, and I used to go there. And I didn't really get into NASCAR a whole lot. I had watched a few races, but I never kept up with it. When I moved down to Texas, I was at an early age. I was more into baseball than I was racing, just because I wasn't around it much. And then when I got back here, my dad eats and sleeps racing in cars, and so that's all he does. And I was around it constantly, and that's where I like to be. I was out and honestly, if it wasn't for that car that we've seen so cheap, I probably still wouldn't have done it up until now, just because I like to help him, and I knew I would get into it eventually, but I wasn't sure when, and I wasn't sure how. But yeah.
So how important is fan interactions to you, weekly?
Well, that definitely keeps the racing world, us racers, and the world keeps going. The fans are what keeps us out there. Because I don't know if you remember when COVID all went around and everybody was talking about that, and nobody was in the stands.
Oh
You had
yeah.
to watch it on TV, and it was different. Nobody really liked it.
Well, not only that, as we mentioned back, back in COVID there, like as you watch WBE or you watch, these other kind of sports stuff, you would see that no one was in there. It was all virtual, and it just, and there was just a lot of like disinterest into it. There's a lot of people that just turn their heads from that because they rather be in their live person, or they rather be at the races live in person. And when everybody put like a limit on who all could be there, the crowd, even in stores, that really not really good.
And you see it now. I feel like more people in the stands than they are watching on TV. I mean, obviously you do get them ones on TV. You have a lot of that, just because people are unable to make the tracks because there's a lot of tour racing going on. If you don't keep up with the tour, that's where everybody's wanting to go. Not a whole lot of people really support the hometown tracks anymore.
Right. Everybody wants to go, traveling, which honestly, to be honest with you, the few tracks I do travel to, it's kind of nice to go, to those kind of tracks. But thing is, like, like I go to Waynesfield, I went to Waynesfield, went to Montpelier, you know, I-96. That's about all that I've ran that was away from home track. And well, Butler, but that's really not traveling. That's like 25 minutes from me. But,
Yeah, right by you.
But it's kind of good to go to a different track. I mean, here and there. I mean, especially Montpelier. Montpelier, though, was probably Waynesfield was the track I've had the most blast at because Waynesfield was fun. But okay. Montpelier, though, it's different. It took me some getting used to that track because each turn is different there.
Yeah. I forgot I had been there, yeah, for the Monster Mash there. Didn't get to make very many laps, but I definitely feel like I could go back there. So I understand that.
Heck, here's something I wanted to bring up. What was that experience at Hartford? I know you were there because I hauled your car there that one time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was really fun. It was neat. I remember missing the transfer spot to the A main by one spot. So I mean that that was the extent of that. But it was honestly really fun. I liked it. I would definitely go back.
Did you ever race asphalt or was it just dirt?
I did race a little asphalt back in the day, just a couple of times.
So I take it dirt's your favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asphalt's for getting to the racetrack, bud.
Yeah, that's a favorite saying there.
Yeah. The asphalt, it was actually really cool. I went down there with that car back in my very first car, and I went there twice just because it was a big race the week after. But I led some laps there, got spun out by a minivan, so that was an experience in itself.
A minivan, a soccer mom van.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what kept you motivated on a weekly basis throughout racing season?
It's just in my blood. If I'm not at the racetrack, I'm not happy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Anywhere, if I'm not racing, I just want to be there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The smell of race gas is my motivation.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's one of the biggest things. Like racing is something I look forward to. Heck, I can't even wait till it's opening day. I'm already got my race gear out, already put in the corner, ready to go out the door, and not here yet.
I'm to that point where it can hold off a little bit, but we'll get out there eventually.
Oh yeah. Well, can you share a memorable moment that stands out to you from the moment you started racing till now?
Well, I have many memorable moments. If I had to pick one, it would have to be my first heat race win. I do remember as a kid, I didn't really know much about racing, but I remember sitting in the stands. We were up visiting from Texas one year, and my dad had this car. He was racing, and he got a win. And so that was the first time I ever got to sit in victory lane with my family and everything. So that was pretty neat. I can still remember that. But I do remember everybody being there for my first heat race win. I'd have to say that was pretty memorable. Also, I think one of them that tops up there was not last year before. My grandpa and granny were up from Texas, and I remember running the B main. I ended up getting in the B main that night. Got spun out. I had to go to the tail and come back and got the win, and that was their first time being at the track to ever watch me. So that was pretty neat. I thought that was a very neat experience and a very good night.
Now, as far as I know, I mentioned this before. Now, the memorable moment I had was 22 of September, back in 2022, September 10th. I think you were there that night too, but It was when me and Jason Deschler came across that checkered flag nose to nose. That was fun.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that race. I remember watching that race from the barn. I was waiting for my pill draw.
And then we all remember the big old cloud of smoke that followed in the feature, which ended the motor. But
yeah.
That's what I get for trying to keep up with Eric Carr.
He is a tough one, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I will have to say too, I also remember when you pit right next to me. You had this car, and you'd come in from, I think, hot laps. I think it was a newish car, new to you anyway. Thought you blew it up.
Oh, you're talking about that Toyota? I think so. Yeah, that was. Yeah.
You come in and there's oil all over the hood. Oh, we blew it up.
Oh, I thought
No.
for sure it did.
Yeah, that was a good time.
What it did was it actually blew the crankhouse filter right off the top of the motor and poosh everywhere.
Yeah, I
Um,
believe you went on to finish the night as well.
yeah, well, I went out and I think I went out for the heat race, got like a couple laps. I think I finished the heat race. I didn't really push it, and then it stalled on me going off the track. And then in the feature, I think I got like 2 laps, and it ended up dying on me.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a something night.
I
I
have
tell
to
you.
say I've never blowed one up on the racetrack yet, but I do remember I ran a street stock. I owned a street stock for a little bit. I raced a few races with that. I remember it was, I want to say, either in the dead middle of summer. It's beating hot. It was the Dust Bowl. I remember going into turn number 3 and never seen this car spin in front of me, and whack!
Oh,
That ended that for a little while.
yeah, it's always I call it the funnest, but it's challenging sometimes. Is when you get to the track, it's 100 degrees. You're in a 2-layered race suit. You got engine heat coming from the race car, and it's a dust bowl out there, and you can't see anything in front of you. You get right up on somebody, you're like, oh shoot, someone spun out, and you try your best to correct it.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of moments like that.
And I don't know about you, but in the chute is about where it makes you the most nervous when you're waiting to go out there. I can tell you that about every time I get in the chute and I'm waiting to go out, I'm thinking in my head the whole time, I should just turn around, load up right now. It's not even worth it. But as soon as you get out there, it's all away. All goes away.
Well, see, how I handle that is I am nervous. I'm a wreck. Don't get me wrong, but I'll sit there and I'll bow my head and pray to the Lord above more than probably a couple times before I go out. Then to make sure I'm covered, because you never know what's going to happen. So, but once you get out there, like I said, all that, like you said, the fear just gone.
Yeah, as soon as you hit the track.
Yeah. What was let's save that for last. What was your first experience like when you got into racing?
Exciting. Super exciting, especially when it was my own equipment. It is very exciting. It's very nerve-wracking.
Oh yeah.
But a ton of fun, man. I mean, if anybody were to ask me, is it worth getting into, I would tell them to go do it right now. It's worth every inch of it.
It's worth every penny. I agree with you. It's worth every penny, because you know what? For the short time you're on the track, all that stress that you have on your head throughout the week, all that stuff, it's like it's gone. It's gone for 10 laps or 8 laps or however long the race is, and it's just you in the car, and it's the best feeling ever, I would say.
It is. I know it's not the best feeling, though, is when you lead the whole A main and then you brake on the last lap.
Okay, now that is not that is not it.
Yeah. It's actually a pretty terrible feeling.
Yeah, I guess I would say I was a little frustrated when my motor blew, but instead, I pulled off because, technically, to be honest, it didn't quite blow on me while I was out there. I just felt when I had the gas to the floor, it didn't have nothing to it. So I just pretty much like, oh, okay, well, I ain't going to be able to keep up because I fell to the back anyway. So I pulled off, and you can just hear the car knocking, and I go to shut it off to let it cool off before I open the hood. And I open the hood, there's oil everywhere, and go to try to restart it to load it later on once everything cooled down, and it got so hot. What happened was it got so hot it melted the piston to the inner wall, the inner sleeve of the motor. So then when you went to turn the car on, it snapped the timing chain. Done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Got to put oil in her.
Well, I did. It was more of I guess my temp gauge must not have been working or something, because it said that it wasn't overheating. I was hitting about 180, 190 the whole time, and I'm like, well, she got a little hot. She was more than 180, 190, so something got disconnected.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The other thing is, I forgot to bring this part up. So I didn't talk about this much, but when I can't remember what time it was. I want to say it was 2022 in August sometime. I was running the car and we were coming around in the heat race. I think we got like third or fourth, maybe fifth. I don't know. We were in that mix there at the end. Well, towards the end of the race there in the heat race, Jeff Goodman spun out in front of me because they got into something with somebody else or something out there in the track, and I remember going to hit my brakes and didn't have any. I was like, oops. so he was in my line in the corner, so I hurried up and jerked it up to the top, praying that no one was right there because I would have. I was like, I wasn't stopped, but I couldn't. And all I had was one wheel brake. That's all I had for a little bit. Once I got to the trailer, I lost all of them. But
oh gosh,
so I pretty much like
that's not a good feeling.
No, it's not. And I went right into the pits. You know, I put it in neutral and I hit the one wheel brake. About spun me around a little bit, but I kept it all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. We ended up clamping it off and finishing the night. So had all 4 brakes back. So
hey, who needs brakes? If you're hitting the brakes, you ain't going fast enough.
Well, we only needed them to get past Tech. Nobody heard anything. Anyways. No, but it was definitely crazy because that was the first time that it ever happened like that to me like that before. What's your future looking like in the racing community?
Well, hopefully to actually be racing, you know.
Well, yeah.
You know, I don't know yet. I would hope. I'm hoping to get into a street stock. If anything, I'm kind of venturing off into the go-karts a little bit. I'm kind of dipping my feet in there. You know, if cards play right, I might be in a front-wheel drive a little bit. But you know, we're taking it day by day with it. I'm just kind of taking whatever comes my way.
So, what would you say who was your biggest mentor getting into the sport?
Oh, my dad.
You did.
Oh yeah, he's done a lot. He's pretty much the reason why sometimes my car made it to the track each week.
Awesome.
He's helped me work on it. He's taught me everything that I do know, the little bit that I do know, you know. But yeah, also my grandpa, you know, I wish I would have been able to see him race, but that didn't get to happen. So, but I do look up to that because he knows and he's given me some advice. But yeah, definitely my dad.
So what was there any sponsors that you had aboard going into this year, or just was there any sponsors you wanted to thank even last year or you know throughout the years?
Yeah, absolutely. Cox Farm, Perry Cox, with Cox Farm, he is a big help to us. He's been on board last few years, and Cutler's Precision Flooring. He was a huge help, you know, and you got Haley and Blue Rep. You know, they've helped out a lot. Obviously, my dad and all my family, Nicole, Karen, Andy, and all the kids, you know, my grandparents who've helped out.
I was gonna say Andy and Perry, pretty good people, I gotta admit, and you know Karen and all them guys, yeah, for sure,
absolutely. And really, anybody who gives advice out, Andy, he's a great crew guy, and he's not afraid to get his hands in there.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I've known you guys for since I've started back in 21, and you guys been great friends since, you know. So very thankful for that as well. So I guess one last question. What would be your like biggest advice to anybody that's starting racing? You know, like lessons that you learned throughout your career that you want to just advice give to someone that's just getting into it.
Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to try it out. If it doesn't work, go back to what you had and talk to people, obviously. just talk to everybody who's been in it for a while. They obviously know their stuff. And honestly, if you're just starting out, just go out there and just make laps and have fun with it. Don't go out there and try to win. Don't go out there and go balls to the walls and not only get yourself hurt, but hurt other people.
Definitely. All right, so we'll open up to the comment section here. So it looks like Marcus Davis left a couple comments here. He said he's like, "How you guys been? Well, we've been pretty good." And then he also asked, I think this came in when we were talking about the when you got spun out by that minivan or something rather. But he goes, I remember that. Wasn't that in the Geo?
No, that wasn't in the Geo. That was in the Prelude. And he always says that's a Geo. It's not. It wasn't a Geo. That was a Corolla. I will argue with him until I am blue in the face. That was a Toyota Corolla. Okay, I'm telling you right now. But anyway, no. I only had that car for a little bit, and he actually ended up with it by the end of it. But that was a decent car.
But yeah, so well, was there any questions you had for me? Feel free to ask. And then go ahead.
How many races do you plan on hitting? You gonna do a full season?
Well, our goal is hoping to be a full season. That's our goal. We're hoping to do a full season. We're trying. See, when we get in the corrections, my biggest thing is like obviously through the academy, I'll have the weekends off, so it'll be pretty simple to get out there on Saturdays. But when it comes to getting into facility and all that, and doing all the overtime, I don't know if they're gonna let me have work days, and then I can actually have like Saturdays off, or work early Saturdays so I can get out early enough to go to the races. So something to work on, but if we can, it'll be a full season.
Okay, and what is your, I guess if you had to set a goal, what would it be?
Oh, set a goal. We're going to at least hopefully get a couple heat wins and maybe a feature win this year. Okay. Hopefully.
Yeah.
First ever win.
Yeah. It'll happen, man. It will. You just got to keep working at it. Keep trying.
Also, Haley Geis, Geis, commented on here. She said, always willing to help you, Haley and Blue.
Yeah.
Yep.
They helped out a lot last year. We were having a lot of car problems. The car, actually, we got to cut our season short because of it. We were finding some fuel problems, and Blue was down trying to put all of his knowledge into it. And, they spent some money for us and got us some stuff to kind of try out. Anything helps with my team, even if it's the littlest things. Coming down and taking a look at something, just giving some input. Anybody who comes down, it's very well appreciated.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially with all the times you guys came over and gave me a hand, or gave KNC Racing side of things a hand over there, especially with I remember back when I think Andrew and you came down. I'm pretty sure, and one other person came down when I was fighting fuel issues with that Sunfire, and found out there was a wire behind the firewall that was all pinched off, and we ended up fixing it. Yeah, and that's the night I was running with Jason. So
yeah, oh yeah. I don't know if Andy was there or not. Who knows? He come aboard, I think, at the beginning of the season 2 years ago. Gotcha. I want to say not last season, but the season before.
And then Marcus said, always have fun racing with you guys. Yeah, always have fun racing with you. A lot of people out there. It's fun. I mean, gotta love it out there.
Oh yeah, always, Marcus. Always. You know that.
But all right, man. Hey, thanks for coming on, and appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for having me, buddy.
Hey, you have a good night, man.
You too.
Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Brandon Paskan. Hopefully everybody had a good time. It was a good interview for sure. Thank you guys for all the support. Like I said before, be sure to like, comment, subscribe for more great content on YouTube and SoundCloud, Spotify, Lehman Podcast on Facebook. Be sure to check it out, follow it. I think we got 340 something or somewhere around there, 319, 320 something followers on there. Be sure to check that out. Always want to boost up them follows up there. We're trying. We just it's hard with the schedule here lately. It's been pretty hard to try to get everything scheduled because before I didn't have anything going on, so it was hard to get everything scheduled to where I can add stuff as far as scheduling podcasts in advance like I've been doing with YouTube. But April 5th, we are having an in-person interview with 7 participants with the Belmonte Motorsports. And I believe, so I might miss a couple people. I pardon if I do. I'm just going off the top of my head. It's going to be Andrew Hollister, Jason Wirt, Jason Lee, Kelly and Drain, Kelsey Stevens, Hunter Jewett, and trying to think who else am I missing here. And I think his name's Jason Denbrock. Those guys are it'll be April 5th. It'll be live in person interview, so be sure to check that out. I will have, that'll be 7:00 Eastern time on the 5th of April. So as that being said, appreciate you guys tuning in. We had almost 15 watchers this time. Usually it stays around 8 or 9, so appreciate all the watchers, and be sure to follow and subscribe, and like the content. We're at 45 followers on YouTube. We're still going. We're still growing. Thank you guys for all the support. Seriously, it means a lot. And feel free to leave feedback too. Either comment on here during the live or, SoundCloud, Spotify, comment on there, or message us on Facebook on the Facebook page. Always looking for feedback. It's much appreciated. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and you guys have a great, blessed night. Take care.